Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on a scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Kaplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. And today, Jeff has the day off. We miss you, Jeff. But today you have me flying solo. So I brought someone in that I admire and respect, and he spends his days and nights in the middle of one of the most fascinating parts of the real estate market, commercial real estate. Because most people hear the words real estate, they immediately think of homes. But commercial real estate is where Tanner Olson loves to work. It's where we shop. It's where companies manufacture products. They store inventory. They see patients. They open restaurants and build businesses. And right now, commercial real estate is going through a remarkable reset. Today, we have Tanner Olson. He is a commercial real estate professional here in the Salt Lake area. Tanner, how are you?
Doing great. Always happy to be on the show with you.
Welcome back. We are so excited to have you. And Tanner and I can talk for hours about real estate, specifically commercial. But before we talk numbers, Tanner, I just want to find out about deals, predictions. Let's have you introduce yourself to our listeners and how you became involved in real estate. Let's start there.
So I grew up in Seattle, Washington, and my older brother, my uncle, my next door neighbor were all commercial real estate brokers growing up. And I was very similar in personality as them and thought it might be a good fit for me to jump into after college. And so I went to University of Utah for undergrad and was in a fraternity there and had an alumni that was a couple of decades my senior, and he needed a rookie to kind of do some of the grunt work for him, and I was happy to take that role, and here we are 10 years later. It was the best decision of my life, and I love the industry. So.
Tanner, you are so savvy in commercial real estate, and you're a hustler. I love it. You pick up the phone. You are so responsive. I love all of that. Tell me a little bit about what's happening generally in commercial real estate here in Utah.
Yeah, so just in our company meeting this morning, I'm the managing partner at Legend Commercial, and we were just talking about the number of large infrastructure, retail, mixed-use office projects going on all across the state right now. So whether it's St. George all the way up to Logan, we are seeing dozens of $500 million to $1 billion large-scale commercial real estate developments, and I think that's the most exciting thing I've the state of Utah seen in decades.
For sure. And Tanner, I know you already know this, but I own some commercial real estate. In fact, you've helped me lease a bunch of my commercial real estate, specifically some retail projects. But what would you say surprises most people about today's commercial market? Is it retail? Is it industrial? Is it office? Like what's surprising people?
Yeah, so the trends that you're seeing in residential real estate are not necessarily going to carry over into commercial real estate. So where, once again, I'm not going to speak on a segment of the industry that I'm not an expert, but it feels to me like the residential industry maybe has stalled, or we're kind of in this standstill between buyers and sellers, and there's not a lot of inventory in the market. I think the commercial real estate market, on the contrary, there is a severe lack of Class A office, Class A retail, and there is a large demand for that just all across the Wasatch Front right now. So I think, the commercial real estate market's thriving. We are seeing the gap maybe that was a couple of years ago between buyers and sellers and where they wanted to be, that's kind of closed. And so I think we're now seeing more transaction volume pick up. So it's an exciting time. I think 2026 has been a great year.
And Tanner, I'm an interior designer, so exteriors and interiors are a big deal to me. And before the show, we were talking about, there's a lack of inventory in good-looking space, and people will pay more for that, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple of great developers in Utah, Asana Partners, CenterCal, and a number of others that are building good-looking product out in the suburbs and even close to the city. And I think they're seeing great success because just like, many things in residential and apartment buildings, you see a lot of the same cookie cutter stuff. And so just anytime someone builds something with just a little bit more flair, a little bit more expensive architectural design, that goes a long way. And I think, they're reaping the benefits of that.
For sure. Where are you seeing the greatest opportunities? It seems like north end of the valley.
Yeah, so right now, just before the show, we were talking about on Weber and Davis County, I think have lagged behind both Salt Lake County and Utah County in building a little bit more of an upscale commercial real estate product, whether that's in office, industrial, or retail.
For sure. Are sellers finally becoming more realistic about pricing?
Yes, I think so, in my opinion. So I think we went through kind of this wave of post-COVID, late 21, early 22, right before the Fed then increased interest rates and halfway through 2023, where it was absolutely a seller's market. And we were seeing cap rates, compressed to some of the lowest numbers we've ever seen. Then we went through the back half of 2023, 2024, I would even say a good chunk of 2025, where you had this buy, ask, basically a huge discrepancy there where buyers were saying, well, interest rates have skyrocketed. How can I possibly pay that amount? Sellers were saying, well, last year I was getting that amount, and so I want to get that this year. And there was just a big disconnect. And finally, I think we've seen sellers come back down to reality where the data is showing that they need to loosen up a little bit on their expectations. And so thus now we're seeing a little bit more transaction volume pick up.
And how about buyers? Are they becoming more aggressive or more cautious?
Good question. I think for the right real estate, they are aggressive. So when something, this is a funny term to say, when something good hits the market, like it gets gobbled up in 2 seconds and there's multiple bids on it. But when something that maybe is a little bit more of like Class B office, B minus C, same category in retail, same category industrial, that stuff can linger on the market a little bit longer.
And Tanner, you and I have been talking about a property that I own right there at the Traverse Mountain area. It's right next to the Strap Tank and the Traverse Mountain outlets.
Yep.
I own an acre and a half right there. And even just recently you said, if you can just get that hole in the ground, I can get that leased up really quick. Like you said, it has to just be in a good location with a great design and they will go.
Yeah, and I think people love Lehigh from a retail perspective. We're seeing a ton of growth in retail in Lehigh right now with a new Target coming, a new Whole Foods coming.
Is there Trader Joe's? Is that what I heard?
Potentially, that's rumored.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Confirm nor deny. But nonetheless, there's a lot of retail happening there, and I think because Lehigh conveniently sits on the 50-yard line between BYU and University of Utah, and it's just very accessible to whether you live in Utah County or Salt Lake County, and so it kind of has this catcher's mitt of just all of the entire Wasatch Front.
For sure. Okay, so what makes Utah different from other commercial markets around the country, would you say?
Yeah, I was talking to a coworker this morning about this, how we'll have buyers come from Florida, from New York, or the Midwest, and they think that they can come into Utah and pick up things for a steal of a deal, and I just don't think that's the case. We have mountains on both sides, lakes on both sides, and really you can only build north-south. So, there's certain parts of the valley, Lehigh is a good example, where, there's only a few mile gap between both sides of the mountain ranges there. And then same thing when you get up to like Centerville and Farmington, for example. So we're very just supply constrained. That's why you're seeing a lot more vertical growth in Utah and the Wasatch Front over the last several years. And I think that trend's just going to continue.
I think so as well. Okay, so here's something I found interesting as I was looking up things this week for today's show, that there's a stat that says Salt Lake's industrial vacancy is currently at about 7.8%, while northern Utah is only at 3.2%. Utah County is around 7.2%. This tells me that we can't even talk about the Utah industrial market as if it's one market anymore. It really just depends on location.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very interesting. Okay, one of the greatest mistakes investors make is waiting until everybody else agrees it's a good time to buy. Wouldn't you say that that's the best time to buy, is when no one else is buying, and when everyone else is buying, that's when you maybe should hold off?
Yes, there is a specific developer I have in mind that I personally think looks like a genius, because he picked up a bunch of office assets in the core CBD and just, really key markets across the Wasatch Front post-COVID. So when everyone else was, running away from buying commercial real estate office developments as fast as they possibly could, this guy was coming in and scooping them up for pennies on the dollar. And I mean, who's eventually, you fast forward 5 years later and it's easy to say this guy looks like a genius. But in essence, did we really ever think that like the CBD and downtown of Salt Lake City was going to really fall apart? I mean, in my opinion, it seemed like a pretty safe bet to me.
Yeah, I think so as well. Okay, another stat and an excellent number that I looked at this past week is Salt Lake vacancy has improved to 22.2%. Salt Lake industrial vacancy is 7.8%. Utah County industrial is 7.2%. And northern Utah industrial remains much tighter at 3.2%. Nationally, industrial vacancy fell below 7% in Q2. And while office has reached its strongest fourth quarter reading since 2020, which goes right along with what you had just mentioned, it is so fun to talk about real estate. Today we have Tanner Olson. He is with Legend Commercial on the show with us today. We're going to be talking about all things commercial, specifically in this Utah market and how it relates to the national market. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the new Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, get early access to our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Something new is in store for you at your newly opened Denver King Soopers. Come explore our fresh sushi counter, where everything is rolled right here in-store every single day. And save $20 on your very first pickup or delivery order, making great food and true convenience easier than ever before. Come see us in Denver at 4201 East Arkansas Avenue.
Right now, O'Reilly Auto Parts gets you back to savings. Fuel system additives can improve your vehicle's fuel economy and performance. Pick up select Royal Purple fuel system additives, buy one, get one free. Plus, receive 4 times O Rewards points. Add it to your tank at your next fill-up. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, and today we're talking about commercial real estate with Tanner Olson. Tanner, I want to tackle the elephant in the room, office space. In the previous segment, we touched on that. Someone was currently buying up all of the office space, specifically in the Salt Lake Valley, which is genius. It is going to go up. Maybe right now it's a little bit lower, which is a great opportunity to buy. For the last several years, we've heard everything from office is dead to everyone is never coming back to work. The truth appears actually much more interesting. National stats say that demand has been improving. There have been reports that the fourth quarter rolling out office absorption reached positive 14.3 million square feet in Q2. It's its strongest level since 2020. Meanwhile, Salt Lake's overall office vacancy declined year over year from 23% to 22%. So, Tanner, is the office apocalypse officially over, or are we just entering the next chapter?
I think office is never going to be like it was in 2019. We're not just going to see developers out there speccing office buildings like we were maybe in the 2015 to 2019 run that we saw. I mean, especially like in Lehigh Draper, you could see Brandon Fugel's sign on both sides of the road in every direction on every plot of land there, and people could just build office buildings in Lehigh, and they would fill them up as quickly as they built them, which was crazy. Today, it's definitely a more nuanced story, and I think it also depends on location. Location has never proved more valuable in office than ever before, just because there's certain pockets. For example, iOffice and Sugar House, there's very, very little available office space in Sugar House, period. And so anyone that could build more office space in Sugar House, which is a very walkable, bikeable, family-friendly neighborhood, that's the exact space that I think it would do really well. And that's an area that I think you could spec office and people would fill it. But then if you look maybe more out by like West Valley City and the Decker Lake area, a little bit more of sprawling suburbs, not walkable, not necessarily in the densest core of residential, I think it would be a much tougher scenario, and I don't think anyone would ever dare build office out there.
Tanner, I think that's a very important distinction. Cheap doesn't necessarily always mean undervalued. When you are a real estate investor, it's all about the deal. It's all about the location. What makes commercial property genuinely undervalued, in your opinion?
Undervalued. I think a lot of the times it does come down to what is the potential of a building. So is it something where we could buy the real estate and just like a residential home kind of fix and flip it, so to speak? So could you do certain finishes, upgrades, such as, higher end flooring, higher end countertops, higher end, lobby surfaces? Is it amenities in the building? Is it adding gym space? Is it adding electric car chargers? There's various little things that are kind of the differences between Class A, B, and C office. Is it the taller ceilings? Even just I see in a lot of older office buildings, the heating and cooling can fluctuate, a lot between room to room. And so I think there's just a lot of small little details that are the gaps there that, how expensive is it going to be to get a building from a Class E building to a Class A building is probably where I might see something undervalued.
I think that's amazing. Okay, so most of our listeners maybe own a home. Maybe they've never invested in real estate before. Let's give some of our KSL friends some advice. Tanner, I'm going to put you on the spot. In the industrial category, would you buy, hold, or sell?
Right now, I think I'm generally holding. I think I'm not an expert in industrial, so I do like to stay in my wheelhouse, my ballpark as much as possible. At least from talking to the industrial experts that are in my office, to me it seems like deal volume is picking up in general, and that leasing has increased over the last few years. I don't think same thing. We're not seeing the crazy cap rates that maybe we saw in 2021, 22, and 23. So I think also in the industrial world, the spread between buyers and sellers has definitely narrowed a lot, and so we are seeing transaction volume pick up. But I also don't think that you're going to see the wild jumps in industrial lease rates that we saw, a couple of years ago. I think we're just kind of back to maybe that steady uptick of 2 to 3% annual increases, which, don't get me wrong, is great and is a safe play.
For sure. Okay, advice for investors. Would you invest in retail right now?
I would, absolutely. I think especially older retail, well-positioned retail in growing areas, the lease rates of deals that were signed, 5, 10, 15 years ago are drastically under-rented compared to new construction rents of today. And just a good example is you and I are working on a deal together in American Fork, and the lease rates that maybe got signed in the early 2020 numbers already today, we're going to see lease rates that are $5, $6, $7 a square foot higher than where those leases were signed. Whereas if they just organically bumped up 2 to 3% per year, we're already going to be several dollars above where that lease rate was at.
For sure. Okay, medical office. Would you invest?
Yes, absolutely. It does feel like medical office is probably the hottest category of office commercial real estate right now. America spends billions, and it might even be $1 trillion on healthcare annually, and I think that trend is only going to continue. So I am very bullish on medical office right now.
What about multifamily?
This is probably the category I'm the least expert in right now. And so, I do just generally know that over the last year, maybe year and a half, at least in our downtown, we did deliver the highest number of apartment units in 1 year than we've ever delivered in Utah's history. And by quite some, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think you're probably going to have to date back to probably the 70s or 80s to prove that statement wrong. But generally, I am cautiously optimistic on multifamily right now.
I think so too, and everyone always needs a home to live in. People, businesses, and demand create value, and the investors who understand where the demand is moving may find the opportunities everyone else missed. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At my bank, I was literally getting pennies using Wealthfront. Cha-ching!
Meet Angela, a Wealthfront cash account client since 2023.
I left my job, not having something else lined up yet. I was pregnant with my second. We had to think about how do we make our money work for us. Every month, there's this much that I'm getting in interest, and I didn't have to do anything. My money is working hard on its own, and I can trust Wealthfront is taking care of me.
With a Wealthfront cash account, earn up to 4.2% APY on your cash. No account fees, no minimums, and no strings attached. Plus, free instant withdrawals to eligible accounts. Get started at wealthfront.com. Client was paid $1,000 for their testimonial, creating a conflict of interest. Outcomes vary. 3.3% base APY as of January 30th, 2026 is representative, variable, and earned on funds swept to program banks. 0.65% new client boost for 3 months on up to $150,000. Direct deposit $1,000 a month and fund an investing account for a 0.25% increase. Cash account offered by Wealthfront Brokerage LLC, member FINRA SIPC, not a bank. Instant withdrawal subject to conditions. Fees and eligibility requirements may apply to certain checking features of the cash account.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable scent boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness, so you can smell unstoppable.
Grainger knows when you're a procurement manager for an office park, you're not managing one building, you're managing all of them. And to stay ahead, you need to see through walls and around corners. Lights about to fail, filters ready to clog, HVAC on its last leg. If you wait until something breaks, you're already behind. Count on Grainger for quality products, easy reordering, and 24/7 support. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Something new is in store for you at your newly opened Denver King Soopers. Come explore our fresh sushi counter, where everything is rolled right here in store every single day. And save $20 on your very first pickup or delivery order, making great food and true convenience easier than ever before. Come see us in Denver at 4201 East Arkansas Avenue.
Whether you're planning a big event, launching a new campaign, or just stocking up on team gear, finding the right promotional products makes all the difference. That's why so many brands turn to 4imprint. They offer thousands of options, from on-trend apparel and eco-friendly drinkware to tech, totes, and giveaways, so you'll find the right fit for any audience, purpose, or budget. You can customize it all. Your logo, your message, your look. And many items come with no setup charge to help you save. And if you're really watching the bottom line, you'll find standout choices at every price point, so you can make a real impact while staying on budget. Plus, you'll get expert help, fast turnaround times, and their 360-degree guarantee. So you can be 4imprint certain your order arrives on time and looks exactly right. Whatever your goal, 4imprint makes it easy to find your perfect promo match. Explore the possibilities today at 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Kaplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of the Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show, and today we have Tanner Olson with Legend Commercial back on the show. Welcome back, Tanner.
Howdy. Happy to be here.
Today we're going to be talking about follow the money. We're going to be specifically talking about commercial real estate, and that can make a good property a bad investment overnight. Commercial real estate is ultimately a numbers business. And today, the price of money matters almost as much as the price of the property. This is particularly timely today because interest rates and inflation remain major market issues. The Federal Reserve just recently gave some numbers on that. And, it can be positive or negative depending on how you're looking at that. But Tanner, questions for you. How much have higher borrowing costs changed commercial property values? So interest rates are high. How does that change our commercial values?
Yes. So it's an immediate effect on cap rate. And so I'll just dive in on, cap rates and kind of how to explain that. So a cap rate is, let's take the net operating income or the income that the tenant is paying per year, and then we're going to divide that by the cap rate. So if it's a 6 cap, you're dividing that number by 0.06. If it's a 4.5 cap, it's divided by 0.05. So actually, the smaller the cap rate or the lower the cap rate, that's actually going to equal a larger value in the property value. So a good example is, let's say a Starbucks is paying $150,000 a year. And in 2019 numbers, we were seeing Starbucks sell for closer to a 4.5 cap. Today, we're seeing them sell closer to a 6 cap. So a 6 cap versus a 4.5 cap, you're talking about $833,000 of value there. So it's a gigantic difference in property value, especially as those cap rates get really compressed.
For sure. Okay, so if you are an owner of a property, you want as low of a cap rate as possible because your property value just went up.
Correct.
Yes. So if you can get some tenants in your properties that are paying a lot of money, your value increases substantially when you go to sell it.
Exactly. So if we're trying to increase the value of the property, there's really 2 ways to go about this. Number one, the tenant can either pay more money in rent, or number 2, it really just depends on how does the market perceive the risk of that tenant. And so less risky tenants, McDonald's, In-N-Out Burger, Starbucks, et cetera, are going to demand a lower cap rate. And so looking at how is the risk of the tenant profile of a tenant that you're doing a deal with is really going to affect on what is that cap rate going to sell, or how is that building going to sell and what cap rate is that going to be at.
For sure. Okay, so how much does a typical commercial buyer need? A lot of our listeners have never invested in real estate before, or maybe they have and they own their own home, but how much does a person need to save up so they can buy their first investment property?
Yeah, and so that's definitely where interest rates play a huge factor today, because a lot of the deals you're seeing are, unless you're putting up a significant amount of money down on a property, you're actually going to be negative leverage. So if you are taking out a loan, to put it into the simplest terms, the amount of interest that you're paying is the same amount of money that you're taking in. And so it basically just zeroes out what your purchase is. So honestly, you really need to be able to put up 40 to 50% down to get an asset to cash flow, if not a little bit more ideally.
Yeah. Don't you think there's deals in every area, though, every sector? If you have the right team, like someone like you that's going after stuff for them.
Yes, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, we've also had to get extremely creative, and I've done more seller financing deals in the last couple of years than I ever had in my career prior. In fact, we almost, I never saw seller financing, but now all of a sudden I think that goes along with the seller expectations have come down a little bit. I think sellers have also gotten more creative in trying to offer seller financing to make deals happen.
And oftentimes they have very low interest rates, so that becomes a huge advantage for those buyers.
Yeah, or they just own it in cash. And so for them, it's great because, maybe they aren't taking the hit on the sale for their taxes right away. And then it allows them to get a little bit more cash flow over the next 3 to 5 years.
Genius. Okay, so are banks still enthusiastic about commercial lending right now?
Yes, generally so. I think, a lot of deals are getting done via SBA right now, but I will say the SBA process is taking longer than it's ever taken. And so it feels like, if you're doing a deal right now and it requires an SBA loan, I would just immediately expect it to take another 30 to 60 days, if not slightly longer than what you normally might have expected a couple of years ago.
I feel like a lot of commercial loans are coming due right now. How is that affecting this market?
It definitely affects, if you have partners in a deal and all of a sudden your loan is expiring, your interest rate is now possibly going to be doubling. So your payment is then going to go up, and then you either have to be able to afford that higher payment, or you may have to bring cash to the table to get it down to a payment that you can't afford. And so it definitely is, it's playing a factor. But I would say in Utah, I don't want to say that we're insulated from buildings going back to the bank, so to speak. But even hearing from someone who's, a couple of decades older than me, back in the 2008 crash, we saw so few properties actually get taken back by banks. And generally the bank doesn't want to take back the property. They want to find a way to work it out. But I still just am not expecting to see blood in the water, so to speak, about, loans maturing right now.
Okay, Tanner, what mistakes do first-time commercial investors make?
I think just like when buying a home, you may buy a property and there's always going to be unexpected costs that are going to happen. And when it's a commercial building, we are multiplying that number by tenfold. So if your HVAC unit breaks, boom, 30 grand. If you need to replace a commercial roof, maybe it's $100,000 replacement instead of, your residential home, 15 to 25 grand. So the expenses are just a lot larger, and there's just a lot more bogeys that maybe you weren't possibly thinking of. On the contrary, what I do like about commercial real estate is triple net leases. So if the toilet breaks on the inside for a commercial tenant, that is not your problem. That is their problem. So
I've had many of those phone calls being a commercial real estate investor versus a residential, and it is very nice that those phone calls are not as frequent as a homeowner tenant.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. Okay, so this is why I think this conversation has been so fascinating. There was a report this last week. The CBRE is forecasting U.S. commercial real estate investment volume could increase about 16% in 2026 to approximately $562 billion. Are you kidding me? Up 16%. That's incredible. So despite all the negative headlines, institutional money isn't abandoning commercial real estate, and it really just seems to be immune. Do you feel like smart money sees things a little bit different than the average person that's looking at investing?
I think it's tough because we are in what I think a lot of people understand as a K-shaped economy, and I am not an economist by any stretch of the imagination, but I think just naturally because inflation has driven the cost and value of basically everything in our lives to be worth more right now, I think people see commercial real estate as a safe bet to ride that inflation wave, at least for the next foreseeable future, because it's just tough to tell when is inflation finally going to break that maybe we get it to be steadily back to 2 to 3% for a continuous decade. So
excellent. Okay, Tanner, take us inside your head. So you walk into a potential investment property for one of your clients for you, or for you personally. What are the 5 things that you look for first?
It's actually probably most of those things are outside the building. So, obviously besides just the general structure and making sure it's just a sound building, but, I just go back to location. And so, do I feel like it's in a high growth area, and what is the projections of population growth in that area? And so I think for me, that's probably my number one indicator that I'm going to look for. The second is just, what do I feel like is my potential competition and conflict? So is there an opportunity for someone to go build the same exact product right next door to me? And so that's a lot less about me and what I'm buying and more about like what else can come in. So I think that, doing a little SWOT analysis and something like that would be where I would start.
I love that so much. Being an interior designer, of course, I'm always looking for properties that, need a little lipstick on them. They need paint, they need carpet, they need tile, they need a gut, they need countertops. Those are just the easy things that a lot of people walk in and then immediately just go, oh, I'm out of here. This is way too much work. But I love those properties. So as a real estate investor, those are something that, of course, I always look for. And, of course, like you're saying, location, buy in those hot areas, do your research and get the very best deal that you can, and then just sit on it and wait for everything to grow up around you. I think that you make money when a property performs, but you actually protect your money when you buy it correctly. And the money is being made in the planning and the preparation and getting the right team on your side to help you make the best investments. Tanner, how do people find you?
Legendcommercial.com, T. Olson at legendcommercial.com, or I just live in Cottonwood Heights, and so I'll probably be at Trader Joe's.
That's awesome. And again, the deal isn't one at closing. It's one of the decisions that you make before closing. One of those is needing money, getting a loan. This is a great time to give a shout out to Central Bank, who is the sponsor of the KSL Real Estate Show. They invest in our community. They have been in business for over 130 years. Not only have they helped me make residential and multifamily loans, but also commercial retail loans, my Osmond Designs furniture store loans, car loans. They have a kids savings plan. We love them. Thank you, Central Bank, for investing in our community. And I always love to shop local, so please support them. Okay, anything else, Tanner, you want to share? What's one thing that you've learned in commercial real estate that you wish you'd known 5 years earlier?
I think there's a lot of deals that you'll pass on that you'll kick yourself for having not bought.
I have about 100 of those.
Yeah, way back when we always joke it's easy to Monday morning quarterback commercial real estate decisions. I think you kind of touched on it earlier, and I think it's that you make your money on the buy. Like everyone thinks that like, oh, if I can sell it for this, then it'll be great. It's like, well, if you bought it cheap enough, then even if you fumble your way through it, ultimately the price you pay for something is far more important than maybe necessarily your exit plan.
Thank you for joining us on the KSL Real Estate Show. Lucky for you, we have one more segment to go, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Tanner Olson, legend commercial real estate, on the show with us today. We'll be right back.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, unlocking the power of Thinkorswim, the award-winning trading platforms loaded with features that let you dive deeper into the market. Visualize your trades in a new light on Thinkorswim desktop with robust charting and analysis tools, all while you uncover new opportunities with up-to-the-minute market news and insights. Thinkorswim is available on desktop, web, and mobile to meet you where you are. It's built by the trading obsessed to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
Whether you're planning a big event, launching a new campaign, or just stocking up on team gear, finding the right promotional products makes all the difference. That's why so many brands turn to 4imprint. They offer thousands of options, from on-trend apparel and eco-friendly drinkware to tech, totes, and giveaways, so you'll find the right fit for any audience, purpose, or budget. You can customize it all. Your logo, your message, your look. And many items come with no setup charge to help you save. And if you're really watching the bottom line, you'll find standout choices at every price point, so you can make a real impact while staying on budget. Plus, you'll get expert help, fast turnaround times, and their 360-degree guarantee. So you can be 4imprint certain your order arrives on time and looks exactly right. Whatever your goal, 4imprint makes it easy to find your perfect promo match. Explore the possibilities today at 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Grainger knows when you're a procurement manager for an office park, you're not managing one building, you're managing all of them. And to stay ahead, you need to see through walls and around corners. Lights about to fail, filters ready to clog, HVAC on its last leg. If you wait until something breaks, you're already behind. Count on Grainger for quality products, easy reordering, and 24/7 support. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Something new is in store for you at your newly opened Denver King Supers. Come explore our fresh sushi counter, where everything is rolled right here in-store every single day. And save $20 on your very first pickup or delivery order, making great food and true convenience easier than ever before. Come see us in Denver at 4201 East Arkansas Avenue.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to our final segment of the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond with commercial real estate expert Tanner Olson, Legend Commercial. Welcome back, Tanner.
Howdy.
Okay, we've talked about where we've been. Now let's talk about where we're going. What part of Utah has the greatest commercial upside over the next decade?
In my opinion, it's Weber-Davis County.
Are you investing in there right now?
I do a lot of deals in Weber-Davis County. I never thought I would become an expert in that neck of the woods, but just kind of organically, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity up there, and I think there's just more room for growth versus Utah County or Salt Lake County that are definitely well discovered, let's just say.
I think that's amazing. I haven't done a lot of shopping up there, but that might be somewhere we need to go. Okay, between Salt Lake County or Utah County, which one has the greater opportunity?
Tough call. I mean, I think Utah County. I'm going to go Utah County, but only slightly. I think Utah County is going through a larger demographic change right now, and I think consumer behavior of maybe some stereotypes of Utah in general are changing in Utah County, and I think people are definitely it's a much more diverse population, and so I think that's really evolving the retail commercial real estate market, especially there.
For sure. What sectors benefit most as Utah continues growing?
Well, multifamily, we talked about earlier, it does still feel like, we are going to continue to organically grow just from, natural birth. But I think at the same time, people are still seeing in-net migration from other states. I don't think it was necessarily the numbers that we were seeing a few years ago, but nonetheless, people are still moving to Utah.
What commercial asset class would you be most comfortable owning for the next 20 years?
I'm probably biased to say retail.
I'm going to say retail too.
But I feel like the Amazon apocalypse has already happened. We've pretty much wiped out every business that Amazon could. And so I feel like what we're left with, and what I think millennials and Gen Z truly desire, is the service-based economy, which a lot of the service-based economy takes place in retail.
I think so too. And it's really just entertainment too. So the restaurants,
absolutely,
get your nails done, get your hair done. All those things are always going to be something you can't buy on Amazon.
Yes, Gen Z and millennials are far more interested in experiences and spending money on themselves and various things and buying possessions per se.
I think so too. What would you avoid?
Wow, tough to say.
I know these are tough questions.
I think it's tough because there's going to be assets that you could buy that people might avoid, Class C office, Class C industrial, that maybe could be repurposed. So sometimes the best buys are actually things that other people are avoiding. So I'm going to dodge that question and answer it in a different way.
You can phone a friend.
Yeah.
What commercial trend are people not talking about enough, would you say?
What commercial trend are people not talking about enough?
Is there anything that's trending really hot right now that's maybe under the radar?
I'm going to say flex retail is an asset class that I love to work on, and I'm working on several projects right now. So the gap that I see in the market is building new retail. A lot of the rents are $40 to $45 to $50 per square foot. A lot of new industrial rates, maybe you're $1.25 to $1.75. Once again, I'm not an industrial guy, but I'll pretend to be one for a second here. I think there is a huge gap in the middle for people that can pay kind of a happy medium of those two rent numbers, who want to be in a building that is nicer than an industrial building and is better well located than most industrial buildings, but also doesn't necessarily need to be, right next to the front door of Smith's Marketplace. And there's just a huge category of a number of tenants that can take over those spaces. And I've done deals for everything from a nail salon to a golf lounge to a doggy daycare to a karate studio to just a dance studio, all in the same building. And I don't think any of us would call those industrial tenants. I don't think any of us would call those, well, you might call nail salon retail, but most of those are not necessarily your tried and true retail tenant.
I think so too. Headlines tell us what's happening. However, experts, specifically local experts, help us understand what that means and how that translates. There will always be reasons to wait: interest rates, elections, inflation, construction costs, economic uncertainty. But fortunes in real estate have rarely been built by waiting for every light to turn green. They've been built by people who studied the market, understood the numbers, surround themselves with great people, and were prepared when opportunity appeared. I'll leave you with this. You don't need to predict the future to succeed in real estate. You need to understand the present well enough to recognize the future before everyone else does. And I will tell you, that has been my secret to success in real estate, is look for deals. Always be open to deals. Have credit lines open so that when the opportunity arises, you understand the value. You get people like Tanner Olson with Legend Commercial Real Estate to advise you and help you buy the right properties, and you will always win. Utah is such a great place to invest in real estate, and thank you so much for joining us today. We love doing this show. Don't follow the headlines, follow the fundamentals of real estate, and you'll likely win. Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate Show today. We'll be back next week.
When you're a maintenance engineer in a beverage manufacturing plant, you keep production lines moving and quality on track because there's no room for slowdowns. With Grainger's vast selection of high-quality motors, sensors, belts, and hard-to-find parts, you can get what you need fast and all in one place, so nothing gets in the way of getting the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back to school is busy enough. The last thing you need is shopping that makes it harder. Whether you're moving into a dorm, your first apartment, or just getting organized for the semester, Wayfair makes it easy to get everything you need in one place. Furniture, bedding, storage, decor, study essentials, all at prices you'll love, with fast shipping before move-in day. Get everything you need for back-to-school season. Shop Wayfair.com today.
Wayfair, every style, every home. Something new is in store for you at your newly opened Denver King Supers. Come explore our fresh sushi counter, where everything is rolled right here in-store every single day. And save $20 on your very first pickup or delivery order, making great food and true convenience easier than ever before. Come see us in Denver at 4201 East Arkansas Avenue.
Whether you're planning a big event, launching a new campaign, or just stocking up on team gear, finding the right promotional products makes all the difference. That's why so many brands turn to 4imprint. They offer thousands of options, from on-trend apparel and eco-friendly drinkware to tech, totes, and giveaways, so you'll find the right fit for any audience, purpose, or budget. You can customize it all. Your logo, your message, your look. And many items come with no setup charge to help you save. And if you're really watching the bottom line, you'll find standout choices at every price point, so you can make a real impact while staying on budget. Plus, you'll get expert help, fast turnaround times, and their 360-degree guarantee, so you can be 4imprint certain your order arrives on time and looks exactly right. Whatever your goal, 4imprint makes it easy to find your perfect promo match. Explore the possibilities today at 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
On the under $3 menu at McDonald's, a McChicken is $1.50. Because when you're craving a McChicken, you deserve a McChicken. And now, that McChicken is just $1.50.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.